What's up, everybody? So I've got my 2007 Ducati Sport Classic up on the bench. I don't talk about this bike a ton. You may have seen it in some of the other videos, but it's a little overdue for belts. So I'm gonna try and do the belt change on it. I've done this once before. It's not super complicated, but this time I'm gonna try and walk you through it and just gonna show you how it's done. So I'm going to turn the camera around and just, get started. All right, here she is. You probably saw this bike in the One Moto video that I made, but yeah, let's get to it. So the belts are under these Rizoma covers that I have on. Your bike might not have these. It might just have standard plastic covers. Anyway, these just come off. It's relatively easy. You just got to pop the spark plug wires out, or the coils out. It'll just come out like so. And then really it's just removing all of the bolts. This one comes out first. This one comes out second. I'm also going to walk you through this. I'm just kind of telling you what I'm going to do here real quick. But yeah, this one comes out. This one comes out. I think it's just like 7 or 8 bolts total. Not a ton. Not super difficult. And then we'll get to it. Yeah, just kind of realizing how dusty it is with this light shining on it. But she needs a bath. Just ignore that. Anyway, I'll just get started here. Now, these are all different sizes, so I don't know if you can see down in the tray here, but I'm just kind of organizing them in the order that I took them out, so that when I go back to put them back in, I'm not guessing which ones go where. Just kind of simplify my life a little bit in the future. Well, I guess that already wanted to come out, so that part's done. This one you kind of got to finagle a little bit. It just gets hung up. But yeah, eventually comes out. And then the spark plugs need to come out. My spark plug socket, 5/8 with the rubber bushing thing in there. Let's pop this loose. Looks pretty good still. I barely ride it, so it's to be expected. I'm gonna go over to the other side, take the plugs out of the other side too. I don't know if that's necessary. The first time I did it, that's the way I did it, and the tutorial I watched showed it being done that way, so it's not a ton of work. I'm just gonna take them out for safe measure. All right, the bike is in neutral. Let me take the phone off here real quick. Bike's in neutral. The next thing to do is to remove the little side cover on the other side so we can use the crank tool to find top dead center. So this piece comes off. I'm going to do that off camera real quick so I don't have to move my tripod, and then I'll show you what's in there. All right, so that little cover pops off. And then inside you can see this little spindle thing here. It's got 2 grooves in it. The tool has two prongs on it, so those prongs need to line up in the grooves, and then you basically just tighten this down in there. Not tight, but you know, hand tighten it down, and then you use this to turn the crank to find top dead center. So I'm gonna put this in real quick. So the tool's in. I just hand tighten that down, obviously with the wrench, but it's not torqued or anything, it's just snug. So just snug it up. 18mm socket goes over the top. I'm gonna need an adapter for that. Get an adapter. And then this gets rotated counterclockwise to find top dead center. So I'll go over here and kind of see where we are. So this dot right here on the cam needs to line up with, oh, there it is right on top. Kind of hidden under the tank, but you can see it in there. It's just like a little bump on the top of the casing here. So this dot needs to line up here, and then this dot needs to line up with this one right here. So I'm going to spin the crank counterclockwise until both of those dots line up in the right spot. I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, that's done. With the bike in neutral and the spark plugs removed, it turns very freely. It's easy to do. I did it just by watching this point here and then reaching underneath and turning the wrench with my arm like so that I could eyeball it. They're both lined up. You can see this dot here is aligned with a little nub on the top there. This dot here is aligned with this nub on the side. So it's good to go. Next step's gonna be loosening the tension on these. Well, actually, I'm gonna mark the belts first. So there's already a mark on the cam here. So I'm gonna use this as my mark and just ignore this. I'm using an orange pen, so I'll be able to ignore this white one. So I'm gonna mark here so that I know which tooth to count. And then back here, same thing. I'm gonna use this mark that's already existing and then mark the belt that's back there. And then I'll do the same thing for the top here. So I'll just kind of show you. Paint pen. Mark on the already painted spot. Then you want to mark the notch that you're using. And then when you're done with this, you're going to use these to mark the new belts in the exact same spot, and you basically just mark it, count the teeth to the next mark on the new belt, and then mark the new belt. I might need to rotate that out a little bit to mark it, which is fine. So I'm gonna mark this one for now. All right, so I've got them marked up. You can see here. I use the orange pen, so just ignore this white one. I'm gonna use this as my marker here. This is my marker here. And then for the bottom one here, I was having trouble getting it in there, so I just put a little bit of paint on the end of this screwdriver, kind of slid it in there, and then like tapped it onto the belt in the right spot. So yeah, you can kind of see it down there. It's marked good enough. Once I get the horizontal belt off, I'll mark the vertical belt in kind of the same way and go from there. All right, so I've got the horizontal belt marked, and I added a couple little marks to the pulleys too, just to give myself like a starting point for when I retension them down. So I'll use that as a starting point. Then I'm going to do the Allen key trick to make sure that they're tightened to the right tension. So I'm going to pull this bottom belt off now, and then I'm going to mark the rear belt, pull that one off, and then I'm going to do a little bit of measuring, counting the notches on the belts, and then marking the new belts. All right. Just slide this off. Easy peasy. I'm just going to put an H on this so that I know it's the horizontal. When I go to count the ridges on it or whatever. And this is the mark I made with the screwdriver, so I'm just going to carry that over just so I know where it is. I'm going to mark in a different location on the rear pulley, right back here. Let me take this off. Actually, I'm going to mark it and then show you. So I couldn't get underneath the pulley, so I just gave this one its own mark. Right there you can see. I just marked, put a little dot on the rear pulley and on that spot on the belt. So I'm going to loosen that one up now, pull it off. All right, now I'm just going to mark the new belts basically by putting a paint mark on to any one of the little nubs here. And then I'm just going to count backwards the short way to the next one and mark that. I'm going to do that for both of the belts. I'm going to do that off camera because you guys don't need to hear me counting. It's not super important, but yeah. Start here. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Count backwards. Mark both of the belts, and then I'll put them back on. I've got both of the new belts marked up. This is the horizontal cylinder. Mark here. Count it all the way down. Second mark is here. That's going to go in second. Vertical cylinder. Mark is here. Count it down. Second mark is here. So I'm going to slide this in. I'm going to do the bottom first so I can get that in. It's a little bit tighter down there. All right, top is obviously lined up. I got the bottom one lined up too. I can see it from here. That's good to go. I'm gonna get the horizontal one in, and then I'm gonna do the little tightening deal. Get those tightened down. So this one's gonna go up top, or to the right here. Get the bottom in first. Get it lined up. Kind of wiggle it. There we go. It lines up perfect. Front one's exactly where it should be. So that's good to go. Now I'm going to retighten the pulleys to the same spots they were in. And then I'll measure once that's done. I'm just going to use that as kind of the starting point. All right, I got the marks I made on all 4 of the pulley bolts lined up. Now the trick is take a 5mm Allen and slide it between the belt and the pulley here. And if it fits, then you try 6mm. If the 6mm doesn't fit, but the 5mm fits, apparently you have good tension. That's a pretty common thing that a lot of the guys in the forums have done. It's documented, so I trust that method. Plus, using my marks as starting points, I feel pretty good about this tension. So I'm going to get the Allens and test that out. Alright, so here's my 5. Let's see if I can slide that through there. Probably going to be a little tight since these are new belts, but yeah, it's not going to go through. Fits on the top one, so that's good. See if the 6 fits. Six fits, so this can be a little bit tighter. Let's try this again here. A little looser here, just a little tighter here. Should be good. All right. That's a 5. The 6 is definitely not getting through there, so I'm going to call that good. So now you just want to make sure you get your spark plugs back in, and then put your covers back on, and then get the wires, the plugs, or the plug wires back in. Don't put the plug wires back in before you get the covers on. So plugs, covers, wires. I'm going to do that off camera, but pretty simple. So all the plugs are back in. I just did the plugs on the back too. I removed the top dead center, the crank turning tool here, and then put the cover back on it. So the back side of the bike is done. Front side, I just need to put the covers on now, and we'll be done. All right, so it's obviously an aluminum head. A while back I replaced all of these bolts with aluminum bolts. These do not need to be super tight. I've already got them snug. I'm just going to make sure they're snug with my Allen wrench and call it good. Just a little bit of torque there, not a lot. Just nice and snug. Good to go. Oh yeah, one last thing. Don't forget to plug your plug wires back into the bike. I realized after I recorded that last piece that those are not in. Anyway, catch you next time. All right, so that's pretty much it. The belts are done, and this procedure applies to all Ducatis with the DS1000 engine. So if you have a bike with the DS1000 or any of the single cam bikes, this procedure basically applies to all of them, so you can use it to do the belts on yours too. It's not super difficult. It's just, you know, a little meticulous and time consuming. So you just have to practice a little patience, but it's easy. This should be able to walk you through it. So if you found this helpful or useful, I would appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button below, and we'll catch you next time.